أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Welcome to the Islamic Medical Association of South Africa's Health Matters Comprehensive Chat. This week, once again, we're coming to you live from beautiful Mother City, Cape Town. My name is Najwa Mohammed Ladi, and once again this evening, we're going to have a very, very interesting topic, dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan. We know the month of Ramadan is within 20 days away, mashallah, and we know we have to prepare for the month of Ramadan. But before I introduce my guest, I have a wonderful, beautiful guest in studio. She's an IMA member. But let me start off with the tarbiyah of tonight's program, inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Food has a great significance in Islam. It is associated with one's relationship with God. Chapter 20, verse 89 of the Holy Quran, Allah states, "Eat of the good and wholesome things that we have provided for your sustenance, but indulge in no excess therein." The physical body is a gift from God. It is given to humans as an amana, which is trust to take care of for a fixed period. How much food is consumed and the choice of food has a direct impact on the physical and spiritual well-being of the person. Our beloved Prophet Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The children of Adam fill no vessel worse than their stomach. Sufficient for him is a few morsels to keep his back straight. If he must eat more, then a third should be for food, a third for his drink, and a third left for air." Sadaqallahul Ladhim. That will be in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, inshallah. Up next, I will be introducing to our viewers or informing our viewers about our activity for this week, inshallah. The overview of our radio programs, which is the Islamic Medical Association of the Western Cape, has a regular radio program weekly on Radio 786 and monthly on Voice of the Cape. The IMA healthcare professionals participate as guests to educate the community on pertinent health-related matters. The telephone lines are open for audience to participate with the guest during the Health File program on Radio 786. That is on Sunday evenings from 8 o'clock the evening until 9 o'clock, and the last Monday of every month on Radio Voice of the Cape, alhamdulillah. The IMA in Durban also has a regular slot with Radio Al-Ansar, and that is every Monday evening. And that is definitely not to be missed to all our viewers because it's valuable, free, professional medical advice, alhamdulillah. So I hope you are going to tune into all those community radio stations also to get the benefit of the health program, inshallah. Well, now I can introduce my wonderful guest. She is a dietitian. She's an IMA member, Sister Shamima Parker. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Shamima.
Wa alaikum salam, Auntie Najma.
How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm very well. Shukran so much for being here.
No,
Thank you very
really,
much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
And inshallah, to all our viewers, we're going to have a very interesting topic, and we would love you to participate, of course, in this program, preparations for the month of Ramadan. And as I said, we do have a dietitian in studio. We will only open our lines after our second segment, inshallah. So right now, Sister Shamima will give us a few information about preparations for the month of Ramadan. Sister Shamima, you are a dietitian, you know, that's why you look so beautiful and thin. Alhamdulillah, your skin is glowing because you know what to eat. Maybe you can just give all our viewers the physical benefits of fasting, please.
Okay, so since the body is unable to get its energy from food during the fasting period, it dips into glucose from the stored glucose in the liver and the muscle.
Okay.
Once the stored glucose is used up, the body turns to fat for energy.
Okay.
So a benefit is that weight loss occurs. So that's one of the benefits.
Yes. And that's always good.
Yes, that's always good, especially
for
those
the ladies
that's trying to lose some weight. Yes.
Right.
Another benefit is a detoxification process occurs because toxins that are stored in our body's fat is removed and dissolved. So that's a great benefit. Another benefit is after a few days of fasting, higher levels of endorphins are released, which are feel-good hormones.
Okay.
So it doesn't only have a benefit on your physical being, but also your mental well-being. Yes. Also, there's lots of other benefits, such as it plays a great role in cardiovascular health, diabetes. So there's many benefits, inshallah. Yes.
And if you look at the digestive system on the screen, obviously we do have a slide as well for the benefit of our viewers. If you look at the digestive system during the month of Ramadan, it normally also tend to take it a little bit slower. Am I correct?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So those are all the benefits, definitely. And you mentioned about, it promotes detoxification.
Yes.
Can you maybe just elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay, so because our body was in a fasting state, you don't want to eat foods that are very greasy and oily foods. So eating foods that can help detoxing your body are foods such as fruits and vegetables and fast digesting foods so that it can stabilize your blood glucose levels. Yeah.
So Shamima, how important is the intake of our water? Obviously not during the day because we're fasting during the day. How important is the intake of water at night or even at suhoor time?
So it's very important as we need to keep hydrated, seeing that we're not going to eat for a good few hours while we are fasting. So while you are drinking fluids, try not to drink high caffeine fluids. Try also not to drink sugary fluids or high sugar drinks, because those type of drinks, it inhibits water absorption and that leads to dehydration like quicker. So you want to rather drink lots of water, and for those it's not big water drinkers, you can rather than have soups, or you rather have fruits that have high water content to help you keep hydrated. Yes.
And that, when would that be best? During suhoor time or when it's iftar time?
Definitely both.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So in the morning it would be so you can sustain your day.
Right.
And in the evening to replenish, once you break your fast.
Okay. Shukran so much. With me is a dietitian, Sister Shamima Parker, and we're discussing dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan. We know the month of Ramadan is knocking on our doors, alhamdulillah. So Sister Shamima is here to give us great advice, inshallah. Sister Shamima, traditional or cultural eating habits versus the religious one. We know, if you think of Ramadan and you think of our iftar table, it is filled with the samosas and the pies and obviously the soups. But you, the expert in that, guide us through this, inshallah.
So we know that certain types of foods are very popular during Ramadan.
Correct.
The foods, like you've mentioned, the pies, samosas, very greasy foods, very sugary foods. But however, and also, our portions are very large. So with the religious beliefs, we need to try and follow the sunnah of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he taught us to eat in moderation. He taught us portion control, and also the types of foods that it were very simple foods. So we want to eat, for an example, when we break our fast, have a date. Dates are complex carbohydrates. It gets used in our body very quickly and easily, so it stabilizes our blood sugar levels. We also ate foods like milk, barley, oats, which are important foods in our religious beliefs. So we want to try and follow that instead of what we have always been doing, following our cultural beliefs with the pies and the fried foods.
Yes. And like you so beautifully said, everything in moderation. So it's not that we should just exclude that in our diet.
No, it's not that we have to exclude it, but especially during the month of Ramadan, try to maybe limit it to 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay, and not every single night.
Not every day, yes.
Okay, and if you talk about the religious and the traditional, we know, as you said, I don't know, it's customary also in Cape Town. I mean, we're broadcasting live from Cape Town this evening, where we normally give something to your neighbor as well.
Yes.
And maybe we should change that and not give your advice. What should we put in that plate?
I think we should also try and think of different cooking methods. So we can maybe still send the same foods, but the preparation. So it's not everything that's deep fried. So we should try and move towards baking or grilling or steaming, those type of foods, and exchange that with our neighbors instead of just deep fried foods all the time.
Sister Shamima Parker is my guest live in studio. We're discussing dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan. It is the Islamic Medical Association's Health Matters Comprehensive Chat, and we will be opening our lines, inshallah, after our second break, inshallah. So you can also participate in our program, inshallah. Sister Shamima, in terms of the samosa, we want to have our samosa. Can you also maybe not fry the samosa, but is there other ways of cooking the samosas?
Well, lots of people have tried baking it, they tend to end up saying that it tastes better than frying.
Okay.
Yeah. So you also can't use olive oil for frying because of the oil. Certain oils can only be heated to a particular temperature. Otherwise it becomes toxic. So even though olive oil is a better option, unfortunately we can't fry our samosas in olive oil.
All right.
So we rather stick with goods that can be baked.
Wonderful. We're discussing dietary preparations here on with Sister Shamima Parker, and we need to go for our first ad break, inshallah. But to all our viewers, stay with us. We'll be back shortly, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Health Matters Comprehensive Chat. We're discussing dietary preparations for the beautiful month of Ramadan, which is in a couple of days' time, inshallah. And with me I have an IMA member. She's a dietitian, Sister Shamima Parker, live in studio, and she gave us such beautiful advice before our first short ad break, inshallah. But now I want to ask her, we must prepare a good meal, as you said, before we start our fast, which is normally suhoor time, or people call it sehri time. Some of us even call it sahur time. So what are the mistakes that we make, preparing certain meals, sister?
Okay. So our eating habits can either help us make the most of Ramadan, or it can lead to us becoming lazy and preventing us from maximizing our potential rewards during this Ramadan. So what we have found the common mistakes to be is breaking your fast on greasy foods, such as the pies and samosas and spring rolls, etc. So having greasy foods on an empty stomach, it can cause digestive harm. It also can lead to abdominal pain and cramping and bloating. So that also prevents us from performing our tarawih. So what we should do is we should rather break our fast with a date, as we've mentioned earlier. That dates are very good. It also gets absorbed very quick and stabilizes our blood sugar levels. We should also eat lots of fruits. That can also detoxify your body on an empty stomach. What we also find a common mistake to be is that people tend to eat very quickly.
So because they're so hungry. That's right.
So the thing is that our brain takes at least 15 to 20 minutes to send the message to our stomach that we are full. So if you're going to eat quicker than what your brain is signaling, you're going to overeat. So that's a common mistake. So what we should do is eat slowly, chew our food, sit and relax, and not just gobble down everything very quickly. That's a very big mistake. Another mistake that we find is that people don't hydrate enough, so they don't drink enough fluids. That can lead to dehydration, it can lead to constipation. So you end up with a whole lot of digestive issues, and that also makes us not perform our tarawih and ibadah. So you want to keep hydrated, and like we said earlier, avoid caffeine drinks, avoid sugar drinks, just so that you don't inhibit your water absorption. Skipping suhoor is also another big mistake. People do that for different reasons. Some maybe to get the extra bit of sleep, Some say they feel hungrier when they don't eat in the morning, but it's probably because they're not eating the correct foods. So you need to try and eat foods that sustain you through the day. For an example, eat whole grains, eat lean proteins. If you're not much of someone to eat a lot in the morning, you can maybe make your smoothie, just so that it contains foods that will sustain you throughout the day. And many studies have shown that breakfast is a very important meal. So we need to try and avoid these mistakes, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. They say eat breakfast like a king.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Like a king with healthy foods.
With healthy foods.
Yeah.
This time it's about healthy foods, inshallah. Very good information. However, it is very difficult for us mothers getting up and preparing the meal. Obviously, we get up an hour before the time to prepare for the family. But for the little ones in particular, when you wake them, how can you ensure, or what kind of, foods can we prepare or put in front of the little ones? Because we know, from the ages of 6, 7, they start normally with their fast. To be attractive for them, suggestions from your side as a dietitian?
Okay, so what we want to always remember is to keep it simple. Lots of times parents feel the child's not going to eat for such long hours, then they put so much of foods in front of them, they end up not eating anything. So at least maybe focus on one healthy meal, to include vegetables, to include a whole grain, so at least brown bread or whole wheat bread. Also to drink lots of water, and they should definitely be fine with it.
And Sister Shamima, how can we change that what we are used to? Because obviously there's such a lot of information going around now, and you said also earlier that we must try and change putting on our tables, especially for the older generations. I'm thinking of, my mother, respectfully, they love certain foods. How can we slowly implement the different changes, not even to hurt, the feelings of our parents?
I think what is important is that we don't change it completely. But maybe like the cooking methods, also taking off extra fat from, for an example, if you're preparing a chicken dish, cut off the extra fats, take off the skin. So just simple things, so we don't change the entire meal, but rather simple things to just make it a bit more healthier if it can't be changed completely. And then also cooking methods is very important.
When is the best time to put your salad on the tables?
You mean for...
Is it for iftar or for suhoor?
I would definitely say for both.
For both?
Yes. In the mornings, at least it's a detoxification. You have been fasting also while you're sleeping.
That's correct, yes.
So your body will use that as a good source of energy. And then at iftar also, you haven't eaten for a long period of time. So it's a quick source of energy as well.
Shukran so much. With me I have Sister Shamima Parker, and it is the Health Matters Comprehensive Chat. We're discussing dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan, and the lines will be open after our second break, inshallah, for you to be part of this. But keep those questions handy, inshallah, for us to give you the best possible advice, inshallah. Sister Shamima, we know the month of Ramadan is between 30 or 29 or 30 days, and we try our best normally to eat healthy and take the advice of the professionals like yourselves. How do we basically maintain that eating habits after Ramadan?
Okay, so I think what's important to remember is we should have the intention of not only proving ourselves to our Creator for the 30 days of Ramadan, but rather prove ourselves from one Ramadan to the next Ramadan. If you have that intention, it can make it so much easier. We've already proven that we can fast. We've already proven that we can go to the masjid every day. We've already proven that we can read the Quran every day. So to try and to continue with this, as the benefits is humongous. Also fasting the 6 days of Shawwal while we are in the mindset of fasting, that will also help. I also find that during the month of Ramadan, we listen to dhikrs, we recite the Quran while we are busy with our daily chores. So to continue doing that, even after Ramadan, while we are cleaning, while we are cooking, to do that, and that will help maintain the benefits, inshallah, after Ramadan.
Today is we in the month of Shawwal, and I just want to ask you also, we have a few days before the holy month of Ramadan basically starts. Is it good still for us now to do the sunnah fasting, which is the intermittent fast, the Mondays and the Thursdays, to prepare us really?
Yes, I think so, yes, because then our body gets used to it, and by the time we have to fast, we'll be very prepared. It will be good enough.
Yes. And also the advice that you've been giving in terms of, change maybe a few of our cooking habits. Maybe we should do that now already.
No, definitely. And then by the time Ramadan starts, it won't be such a shock to your system, and your fasting will be difficult. It will actually be much easier because you already prepared yourself in that way. Yes,
that's right. Advice from yourselves, to our viewers in terms of the little ones, to keep them basically going with good meals. I know my little niece, she loves her almond nuts.
Okay.
How many almond nuts can you actually give little ones, or even us adults? Because I know we can't have too many of those.
Not too many. It's the other nuts are fine, but peanuts is not very. It's not a very healthy fat.
Okay.
So at least a handful at a time.
All right.
Yes, of the remaining nuts is fine.
For them basically just to nibble on.
Yes,
maybe
it's more of a snack, not like a meal. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I also just want to ask you, I know normally they say our kitchens must close at a certain time, not during the month of Ramadan, but I want to ask you, after our Taraweeh, can we still nibble?
You can nibble, but then again, also the types of foods that you nibble on.
All right.
So, like the foods we've touched on, it must be simple foods. Yogurts are good, lentils are good. So, foods that will keep you fuller for longer, and not foods that will let you crash quickly. So, if you eat very high sugar and fat foods, it gets very quickly absorbed in your body, and then you find yourself hungry again. So you want to eat foods that will sustain you, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So Shamima, we need to go for our next ad break, but before we take that ad break, inshallah, I want to ask you, any advice for our viewers before you're going to be replaced now by another dietitian, inshallah. We're having just a different type of show this evening. Some advice to our viewers for the preparations of the month of Ramadan.
Okay, so what I can advise is to keep it simple. Have lots of fruits and vegetables, hydrate yourself with the correct fluids. Also, just a variety, try to keep your meal balanced and not too much of one particular food. Try to have a balanced meal which includes your whole grains such as your breads, your pastas, your rice. That should be half of your plate, and then the other quarter should be your lean proteins, which is your chicken, your fish, your red meats, your eggs, and then the other quarter should be your vegetables, your starch, so that is what I would recommend. Yes.
Okay. Shamima, shukran so very much. It was such an honor to be in your company, and I'm sure all our viewers have benefited from your great advice. All the best.
Shukran so much. It was very nice to be here.
May Almighty Allah reward you, and also if I don't speak to you again before the month of Ramadan, I hope it's going to be a beneficial month, inshallah.
Same to you.
Shukran so much. Yeah. Well, we need to go for our next ad break, inshallah, but when we return, I will be replacing her with another dietitian, inshallah, but stay with us to all our viewers. We'll be back shortly, inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Health Matters Comprehensive Chat. We're coming to you live from Cape Town with myself, Najwa Mohammed Ladi, and we're discussing dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan. We know it's knocking on our doors, the beautiful holy month of Ramadan, inshallah. And I do have the experts in studio. I had Sister Shamima Parker, who just left us now, and with me now, let me greet Sister Salama Solomon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you and the
Salama?
viewers. Alhamdulillah, and you.
I'm
Nice
very
to
well,
see you
alhamdulillah.
again.
Yes, shukran so much. She's no newcomer to us, alhamdulillah. You've been on about a month ago.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. And this evening, once again, she will be giving us great advice. And also to all our viewers, the lines are immediately open for you to participate in tonight's program, inshallah. As I said, dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan. Sister Salama, your colleague, Sister Shamima Parker, briefly spoke of the benefits or the physical benefits of the month of Ramadan, the fasting, what really happens. But if you can maybe just also elaborate, really what happens to the body really during the month of Ramadan.
Okay, so it's very important we understand the benefits of fasting, obviously, before we start fasting, because there are numerous benefits, and if we know it, that actually makes us change our eating habits so that we can get the full benefit of our fast. Right. So what is important to know that Islam is the perfect way of life. We all know that, alhamdulillah. Right. And Ramadan is part of that.
Yeah.
It's part of the pillars of Islam to fast the month of Ramadan. And everything in there is perfectly, set out, your rules and guidelines, what to do. And Ramadan or Islam is based on moderation. Right. So in our lifestyle every day, we are busy. In our 11 months of the year, we are busy with, life and everything, and we get caught up with life. Right. So Ramadan comes in perfectly just to remind us to go back to our moderation. Right. And it's looking at changing your eating habits and all of those things, and also feeding your soul more than feeding your stomach at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And we can, there's just a slide that I have that perfectly explains the benefits of, the physical benefits of fasting.
Okay. And to all our viewers, the telephone number do appear on your screen, but of course to all those visually impaired, the number 021 8321 900. 021 8321 900. That's the telephone number to dial to participate in our program preparations for the month of Ramadan. And we know fasting, Sister Salama, is not just for Muslims. It is beneficial to the body, and it is for everybody. So even if you're non-Muslim, watching our program, please participate in our program, alhamdulillah. There's a few physical benefits of fasting on our slides right now. If you can maybe also just talk us through that benefits, Sister Salama.
Okay. So you can see I've separated into the defined period where we fast from pre-dawn to dusk, and that is the Ramadan fast, and also our intermittent fast the Sunnah fast that we recommended. The length of the fast is very important to actually get the benefits of the fasting. Okay. And so you can see the body starts using glucose first as a source of energy, and once the glucose is used up, we start using the fat. Okay. This is during our fast. And then when fat is broken down, our toxins are all stored in our fat cells. Right. So once we start breaking down fat, those toxins that's in our fat cells are released and dissolved, and obviously it's excreted outside of the body. And then obviously the breaking the fast time comes in, and that is the crucial time where our body again replenishes all our stores that we lost during our fasting period. And then obviously a weight loss is very important benefit of fasting, and that obviously impacts on your blood pressure and your blood glucose levels. So diabetes and high blood pressure individual that are fasting, or it definitely improves those things. And also endorphins are released after a period of fasting, and that also improves your mood and makes you more aware and more focused, and that also helps you. Now on the other hand, you get the continuous fasting where people fast for long periods of time, and that is not recommended in Islam. So after using the fat, the body will use the proteins, which is your muscle, as a source of energy, and that's where you actually lose more than your fat, you lose your muscle, and that is not recommended. So Ramadan fast is ideal, the length of the fast, which is very important to get the full benefits of the fast.
Definitely. To our viewers, the lines are open and the telephone number do appear on your screen. We encourage you to participate. As we all know, the month of Ramadan is only days away, inshallah, and we want to definitely get the benefit of this holy month of Ramadan. And as I earlier mentioned, it's not just for Muslims, because it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It is the 4th pillar of Islam. We need to do this. But for other denominations, you are most welcome also to call in and just ask a question. We do have a professional in studio. She is a dietitian, Sister Salama Solomon, and she's basically telling us how to prepare the dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan and the beautiful benefits that goes with that as well. Sister Salama, common lifestyle mistakes that we make during the month of Ramadan, what would that be?
Okay, they are quite a few,
okay,
and quite common. So one of the mistakes is that people don't have suhoor. Very a big mistake.
Yeah.
Because that impacts your fasting as well. As we mentioned, with the benefits of the fasting, and it uses stores of energy. So if you do not have suhoor, you're missing out on, stocking up on those stores of energy that your body can use. So you can see
building blocks.
Yes.
Okay, that's
and
right.
And as it's well known that suhoor is a well recommended sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to do, because it is the difference between our fast and the fast that people of the book is to have suhoor. So it's not the prophetic way if you do not have a suhoor, and it also leads to overeating at iftar time.
Okay.
Another common mistake is sleeping most of the day, because most people, they are eating every day. So if there's no eating, what else is there for them to do? Right. So they would rather sleep. But what you can do in that time is to rather read Quran, because we need to feed our spirituality.
It's the month of the Quran.
Yes, so you
That's
need
right.
to read the Quran, make dhikr, perform sunnah salats, and also to be moderately active.
Okay.
So it's a big myth that people think when you're fasting you shouldn't be doing any activity, you need to rest, you need to go sleep. It's very important and encouraged to actually have moderate physical activity during that time as well. Another common mistake is overeating, obviously at the iftar time, and that causes sluggishness and tiredness, and when you're performing your tarawih, you're quite bloated and
That's
full,
right.
and once you reach the sujood position it's very difficult to come back up, and that is sad. And you're waiting 11 months of the year to reach that point, just to struggle to get up from sujood.
That's right.
So it's important that we watch our portions, as my colleague mentioned previously, the healthy eating that we need to follow to avoid the overeating and all those common mistakes, because we really want to benefit from Ramadan, and the overeating is going to definitely work against that.
So no overeating, of course, and I'm sure if we start trying even that now, we do have about 20 days before the month of Ramadan, try to do the intermittent fasting. Would you recommend that even now before the month of Ramadan?
Yes, definitely. And the Prophet ﷺ also used to do that, and he recommended that, and he didn't say to prepare for the Ramadan, he did it so everyone can follow. And now you see the benefits of actually doing that, to prepare your body to get into that mode of fasting. And with cutting out on the caffeine and all of those things, you will have withdrawal symptoms if you start cutting out just before the fast.
That's right.
So this is a good time to make those changes, so that when you do start fasting, Ramadan fast, which is obligatory, important, you don't have all those withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah. Because often you hear people say, the first 2-3 days of the month of Ramadan, they tend to get headaches and very sluggish, very sleepy. So maybe we should try that now already, and not have that during the month of Ramadan. As Sister Salama said, she gave such a beautiful slide to say of all the benefits, and we must really capitalize on this month of Ramadan, inshallah. The lines are open to all our viewers on 021 8321 900. That is 021 8321 900. Be part of this program. If you'd like to participate or even just comment on this program, inshallah, air your views, because it's very important. As Sister Salama said, it is obligatory for the Muslims to observe the holy month of Ramadan, inshallah. Sister Salama, we know it's 30 days, 29 to 30 days that we observe the month of Ramadan. Then on the Eid day, you know, it's our celebration, alhamdulillah. Common mistakes that we do after the month of Ramadan, in particular on Eid day.
Okay, yes, very important, because we all know what we do on Eid day, and it's very important that we visit family and you know, congratulate everybody
together.
Yes, celebrate.
Yes,
so we're
right.
celebrating that we completed a whole month of fasting, we completed a whole month of ibadah, and we got that feeling of we can face the next 11 months.
Yeah.
But along with that, it's the spread that's on the table. So after our fast, we actually have a feast.
Yes.
Which is actually not recommended. Okay. Because we need to continue, because that's why the 6 days of Shawwal comes in, and the Prophet ﷺ recommended that, and it's as if you fast the whole year. And the reason why it comes immediately after Ramadan, obviously Eid day you can't fast.
That's right.
But it's any 6 days in the month of Shawwal after the day of Eid. So that means we really need to continue with all the benefits that we have learned in that 30 or 29 days of Ramadan, and to continue it with that 6 days, and then we get the reward of that, just that 6 days. It's so much more. So that is important, that we look at what we're putting on the day of Eid, and the house hopping that we do. Go, you know, visit all the families, and there's things on each table, and you will have from each table. So it's important to look and remember that you don't want to spoil your fast with the feast.
That's right.
You want to also be in a good state for the next day after Eid if you start your Shawwal fast. So watching the portion control is very important, and choosing what you're going to be eating of, and one item and not many items. If you eat at this house, that item, try not to have it at the next house. So just watch the portions is very important.
Okay. Shukran so much, Sister Salama. We need to go for our ad break, inshallah, but when we return, we'll continue on this very interesting topic, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our last segment of this dietary preparations for the month of Ramadan. And with me is Sister Salama Solomon. She is a dietitian and she's a member of the Islamic Medical Association. The lines are open on 021-8321-900 if you'd love to be part of this interesting topic. Sister Salama, before our break, we spoke of the day of Eid, really after Ramadan. You know, basically how can we not do those wrong things or the eating habits, or sustain really what we've practiced during the month of Ramadan. You would like to continue with that?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so we're all going to go to the houses, and
That's
it's
right.
nice to visit, and you know, your family made the food, especially for those
That's
visitors
right.
are coming.
Yes, yes.
So you don't want to also make them feel bad. So I have this common saying that I always say, always apply the 3-bite rule.
3-bite rules.
Yes.
Okay, so there's
So-
some great advice. What is that?
The first bite is to taste the dessert or whatever it
Okay.
is. The second bite is to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then the third bite is to say goodbye. And then
Oh,
that's it.
okay, all right, okay. So basically you can go to many houses and apply that rule.
Yes, and then also not to duplicate the item that you ate.
Okay.
That's very important.
You can choose something else.
Yes.
You can choose something else. Okay.
But just watch what you're
Yeah.
eating, because
Yeah.
it's very easy to pick up that weight that you lost gradually over the month of Ramadan, which is, lots of people need that.
That's
you know,
right.
in our the time that we're living in, where obesity is quite
That's right.
you know,
Very
an
prevalent
epidemic
in our communities.
in our community. So we want to really, you know, benefit from Ramadan, the benefit that we get after that, and we don't really, like I say, want to spoil our fast with the feast, but try to cut down on the portion that you do take in, and be very responsible and smart when you do choose to eat. And then the 3-bite rule always helps. If you just keep that state of mind
That's right.
whenever you're having something, just not to have the biggest portion of it. So you're not like, you know, depriving yourself,
Yeah.
or having a few bites of it, and 3 is a sunnah, I would think.
As you also said, and your previous, my previous guest, which is your colleague, Sister Shamima Parker, everything in moderation. We're not saying we can't, but everything in moderation. Of course, we also don't want to spoil the month of Ramadan, that we've tried our best to do the sacrifice, alhamdulillah. But also, those aunties that will be making, the beautiful foods during Ramadan, as well as on the beautiful day of Eid, maybe there should also be changes, would you say?
Yes,
Become
definitely.
more healthier?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So it's not obligatory on them to make all these vast different types of. If you're making a dessert, make one dessert.
Yeah.
And then if you're making savories, one of that, and then have some small healthy snacks, as my colleague mentioned before, nuts, fruit, have that also on the table. If you have fruit salad, you can cut that up, have it with yogurt. So light things as well. You can make healthy food very interesting, and if you design it a nice way, you can also do that. I've also made a fruit cake with actual fruit. Actual fruit. So you just design the fruit in a nice layout, and you can make it look appetizing and appealing, and people can start taking from that instead of actually having dessert full on made with cakes and puddings and those things.
Sister Salama, I also would like to know, how can fasting assist us developing really healthy eating habits throughout our lifestyle?
What it teaches us, the Ramadan. So definitely teaches us. One of those things is, I have a slide coming up. It teaches us discipline. So that's very important, because the times that you start having the things that you give up, for example, smoking. Some people say they can't give up smoking, but in Ramadan they give it up.
That's right.
Caffeine also, those that are caffeine junkies, they give up their coffee and they survive the day.
That's right.
And also everyone also avoids food and drinking. Some people say they can't not eat, but they do that, and it's specific times that you should be eating, and then they follow that. So it's discipline. It teaches us discipline, and no one would go against that as well. Fasting is also about time management, because we know time is suhoor. We need to prepare our meals in advance. So we're not going to prepare suhoor after Fajr. We're going to prepare it before Fajr.
That's right.
We're going to prepare our iftar just before Maghrib. So it's important about time management. Fasting also teaches us about patience. So we need to, in those hours that we're fasting, we obviously need to be patient till the time of Maghrib.
That's right.
And we can do that. No one would dare to eat just before the Adhan.
That's right.
We wait till the Adhan comes on. Fasting also teaches us to cut down on our portions, because there is only 2 meals, our main meals, instead of 3 main meals.
Right.
And that's also important too. So if you look at all those things that we apply in Ramadan, we definitely can apply it afterwards.
Sister Salama, are there any examples of foods, maybe from your side, that you can suggest to our viewers to have a very good breakfast to sustain you really through the day?
So we look at 3 food groups. So you get your fats, you get your proteins, and you get your carbohydrates.
Right.
So those are very important to have a combination of
them.
So if you're going to have cereal, that's good. You'll have the carbohydrates in there. If you're going to have your milk with your cereal, there is also carbohydrates and protein and fats in there. So that would also be a good breakfast, but whole wheat. Focusing on whole wheat.
Right.
Whatever cereal you're having, if it's whole wheat, it will sustain you for longer, because whole wheat means it's more fiber in there, and fiber helps controlling your energy levels. So if you eat it during suhoor time, it will continue to give you energy for a few hours after suhoor. That's one option. So cereals. You can also have a sandwich. So whatever bread you're going to choose should be whole wheat bread, the fiber, and what you put on there should be something different, not starchy food, which is the bread. So you can put avocado on, which is good fats, it's high in fats, that also controls the energy levels. Or you can put on peanut butter, or you can put on any of the other proteins, chicken, or you can have tuna. So it's a variety, it's important. And in salads you can also have on there. If you just want to have an egg, boiled egg, You can have that also as well with some salads next to that. So there's lots of variety we usually have for breakfast, is focusing on the natural forms of the food, so cutting out on the processed foods.
Right.
So Vienna sausage, bologna, those things try to cut out of that because it's high in fat, but not the good fats.
Okay.
So the good fats will be the natural forms of fat, so nuts, seeds, and the avocado as well, olives, olive oil, those are all healthy fats. So getting more healthier fats, and it keeps us fuller for longer.
That's right. And then obviously I'd like to ask you also, which foods should we avoid at suhoor time? Not the cakes of the night before.
Definitely.
should we not eat the cakes of the night before?
I wouldn't classify cake as a meal.
Exactly.
So definitely not. So looking at light foods as well,
Right.
to make sure that you not getting heavy foods on.
Right.
So you don't want to, fasting is meant to, stomach takes a break.
That's right.
So light foods that will be easy on your digestive system as well. And very important to get the fluids in, which is the water.
That's right.
Because we can easily dehydrate ourselves and then we are sick and then we sitting in rather in hospital
That's right.
during the month of Ramadan instead of enjoying the benefits of the ibadah and all of that of the fasting.
Sister Salama, shukran so very much. Really, really honored once again to have you in studio. And of course, next week, inshallah, we will be having another program from Cape Town, and we will be discussing diabetics and the eyes, which I'll be having optometrists live in studio. So for myself and my two beautiful guests that was here, this is Sister Salama Solomon as well as Sister Shamima Parker. We want to wish you a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And if they are not going to speak to you or see you again, inshallah, I'm sure you'll be wishing our viewers a beautiful month of Ramadan.
Walaikum salam and shukran for having us. We really would enjoyed giving our information over to the public. It's very important that people are educated about their diet.
That's right.
To fully reap the month of Ramadan and the benefits that you can get from it.
Ramadan. Jazakallah so much, beautiful Sister Salama. So from myself and the team here in Cape Town, we wish you a beautiful, beautiful week ahead. Fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.